Straight from South Africa. This is the strange and mysterious world with your hosts, Lee Stratum and William Collinson.
Welcome to Strange and Mysterious World, Season 1, Episode 24. A fantastic lineup tonight. We're going to be chatting about Theosophy. Theosophy, this is something I've been wanting to chat about for quite some time, William. Theosophy is very interesting. Something
very excited about it. But before we get into that, Lee, firstly, nice shirt, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Looks like you're glowing in the dark, but it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Did you get that in Saudi Arabia?
No. I got this on one of my adventure courses we did, one of the obstacle races we did here in Durban.
Okay,
one
cool.
of those shirts you could buy for the obstacle course.
Nice, man. But anyway, I want to hear, because you've just had an amazing trip.
Yeah, man. We were in Saudi Arabia. We went for a thing called Umrah. It's quite a religious thing in Islam. So I joined them for Umrah, and we started off in Jeddah. It was a couple of days in Jeddah. We made our way to Mecca, and then we went to Medina. But man, what an awesome time, man. What an awesome time. It was. Look, it's not a holiday that you could go on for a tourist holiday. So if you wanted to go and see touristy things there, it's not a tourist holiday. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You go there for religious purposes. There's nothing, unless if you were a theologian and you were going to study theology and that kind of stuff, then it would be good because it's steeped in history. So especially biblical history where Abraham was at certain places and Moses, and you go and see those certain things. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
You can't do that as a tourist. Like I can't just go there and decide I want to go.
No, you can if you want, but there's nothing to see. It's not like going to Italy and you go and see the Colosseum and you go and see this and you go and see that, and it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and you go to. It's not like
so
that.
They just bring you to like a patch of soil. It's a patch of soil. No. This is where Moses saw the burning bush, and you're like, where? And they're like, somewhere around here. Like,
yeah, so they'll take you to the place
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So where Abraham in the Islam tradition, it wasn't when Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac on the mountain.
Yeah,
they've got that area, so we went there. But in the Islam tradition, it's not Isaac. In the Islam tradition, it's Ishmael that he was going to sacrifice. And then so they take you to those sort of historical places where these prophets and them were and have been.
Oh, wow, that's amazing, dude. But how was it? Did you have any like epiphanies? Do you have any like religious experiences? Did you have anything significant, or was it just interesting?
That was very interesting. Look, it made me view, especially the Islamic people, made me view them in a very different light as to what we normally get through the media. Very, very generous people, gracious people. When we were walking around the Kaaba, because you've got to walk around there 7 times, and then you go and walk between the mountains or run between the mountains. It's quite a significant thing to walk around the Kaaba 7 times, and I'm sure you've seen it on the media, where you see the Kaaba, which is that black, almost like square, and you see the people moving around it anti-clockwise. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, like that, but Mecca, isn't that Mecca?
Yeah, that's in Mecca. So we did that. You know what? You can be of any creed, any race. You could be poor as hell. You can be the richest oak on earth. The guy next to you is wearing the same as you and in sandals, and you're walking, dude.
So you go walk around it 7 times?
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
We did all that.
That's incredible, huh?
And when you finish
you
with
have
that,
to have a special kit to get around there.
There's a certain
can't
thing.
go in the shirt you're wearing now.
No. So there's a certain thing called an ihram. It's almost like a wrap. It's almost like a towel. You do the wrap around the bottom, and then you do the wrap over the shoulder. Okay. And then you've got slops that you're wearing. Certain slops. You don't wear shoes. There's no tackies. You don't go in jeans. And then obviously when they're finished with it's called the haram, where the Kaaba is. You walk around that 7 times. It's a huge holy thing to do. And then when you finish with that, you go between, there's 2 mountains that they've got. I can't remember the names, but there's 2 little mountains that Ishmael's mom had to run between to get water for him.
Okay.
So it's quite significant for them to walk between these mountains. And we had to do that. So the whole process took us 3.5 hours to do that. But you can't just go in. You've actually got to, so once you've been dressed, you've actually got to go cleanse yourself. You've got to go wash your hands, feet, head, all sorts of stuff so that you're clean when you go in.
Yeah, sure.
And then once you finish with that, you've actually got to, you don't have to, but they say you've got to go bald, shave your head. So if you look at me, oh, baldy locks, buddy.
Nice, dude. You shaved it all off. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
you
incredible,
shave,
dude.
yeah, you shave your head, and when you shave your head, apparently it's supposed to, the more hair you've got and the more you shave off, the more sin is forgiven. But it's only after that time. So
wow, dude. So, and what did you feel like when you're walking around
it was awesome.
Around the Mecca?
It was it was awesome. I took video while I was walking around. I took some on my phone.
Are you allowed to?
I didn't think you were, but I think 98% of the people were doing it. So I thought I'll join everybody else and do it. But it was so cool.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
I just thought you were the only infidel like walking around with your phone.
No, but everybody was
shirt on, because then like somebody could have filmed you from the back. Because I've seen those spirals going around. We could have just seen this guy like with a luminous yellow shirt, just cruising
check
around.
this white tee, man. What's he doing?
Wow, that's so cool. What an honor that you got invited to do that.
Hey, I promise you, it was so cool, dude. It was I've now been to all 3 holy cities. So I've been to the Vatican, I've been to Mecca and to Medina, and I've been to Jerusalem. So I've been to, the 3 major holy cities. So that's actually, for one lifetime, I think that's actually awesome, dude.
Jeez, awesome. I'm really like envy. I know, what a time to be alive, eh? I mean, like you can do that. You can get on a plane and go there and there, and I mean, you can actually make it happen in one lifetime.
Yeah, 100%.
Like getting on a donkey and trekking across the whole of
back in those days, I would have taken them like a year to
get to Africa to get up there.
Yeah, but it was something else, man. It was something. It was really something to experience, and the people are so friendly, dude. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as you could go to one of the imams, which is like quite a high. Let's call him a priest, but they don't call him priests and that. But he's a high
sheikh or a imam. Is a sheikh the same as the imam?
No, a sheikh is almost like a king.
A sheikh.
A sheikh. No, I don't know what a sheikh is. But you get something called a Maulana, which is and then an imam. An imam is something higher than a Maulana. An imam is like almost like your bishop, if you want to call it. It's very high up in the rankings. Your imam's like your preachers and your priests and your, you know what I mean? So, the guy that we went with was so well versed, dude. I mean, we went to one of the caves where the Prophet Muhammad received his first revelation from Gabriel. That was called Cave of Hira.
Wow.
So,
oh my gosh, that must have been incredible, dude.
Yeah. So we went to those kind of places, and in Medina, funny enough, which was, so the temperatures in Mecca were high. Although it's the winter month now, the temperature in Mecca was 38 degrees, and when the wind blew, it was hot, like really, really hot. Dude. It was almost like coming off, what it is. It's like a desert wind, and it's like heat. But in Mecca, I mean, in Medina, it was like Durban. It's 27 degrees, cool weather, overcast quite a lot. Doesn't rain often, but overcast quite a lot. The mosque that they've got there, the Haram that they've got in Medina is massive, dude. If I tell you, at one sitting inside the mosque, you can sit 500,000 people at one time.
What?
Well, 500,000
like bigger than
people.
A macro warehouse.
It's massive, dude. It is. It's the biggest mosque church thing I've ever in my life seen. And what is so cool
like
about
stunning architecture? Is it like beautiful?
Beautiful. It's all like Ottoman architecture, all that curved arches and pillars, and beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the nice thing about that place is the Prophet's actually buried there in that mosque. So you've got a book, because there's a certain area that is in the mosque that you can't get to normally. So normally everybody goes there because they pray 5 times a day, but that mosque is used constantly. There's people from all around the world. I was hearing Russians there. There's Chinese guys sitting next to me at one of the times, but it's constantly people crowded. But there's one section where the Prophet is buried that you can only go in via booking. So we booked, we went, and you kind of do a prayer there, and you spend a bit of time there, and then you walk past his grave. So he's actually buried there, him and 2 of his disciples, if you want to call them. But awesome, dude. Absolutely.
And the energy there, and how did it feel there? Like when you...
So Mecca felt very rushed, chaotic. I don't know, maybe it was because when you're walking around the place and everyone trying to get to the most holy place for them on earth, it was just so crowded. If you go into, I can't equate it to anywhere in Cape Town, but if you go into Durban, there's a place called Warwick Triangle. It's just, dude, it's bumper to bumper. It's people everywhere. It's just like chaotic. But when we went across to Medina, it was so peaceful, calm. It was still busy, but everything, it's just a very different vibe in Medina. Very, very different. It was really something to experience. And, with us and our strange and mysterious world, these kind of things, we talk about these things a lot, but when you go and experience it for yourself, it's something very, very different. It's awesome. So awesome. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to carry on talking to you over the next few weeks and see how you feel or anything changed, in your life for the better.
Well, look, it made me a lot calmer. So when I got home, I'm not as impatient. I've never been an impatient person. I'm not really impatient, but I do on occasion get impatient with certain things. But I've just realized, you know what? There's nothing, if you can't control it, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? If it's in my control, I'll do what I can. But if it's out of my control, don't stress about it. Don't get upset about something that you've got no control over.
Yeah, geez, yeah.
It's like yeah. And then what was actually quite cool, I mean, you and I we were over the period we were chatting, the remote viewing we've been doing. That's been so cool. Look, I didn't from Friday when I landed. I haven't done anything Friday, Saturday, Sunday because I was just trying to recuperate from. I didn't sleep well on the plane, so I was trying to catch up on some sleep and all sorts of things. But I'm going to start again tonight. But the remote viewing has been something to behold. It's you sent me a couple of things, a couple of letters. Words.
Yeah, so let's just tell the audience. So what we've been doing is that I would take a picture of something in my room or whatever, because I've also been in Joburg shooting a documentary, I've also over the last 2-3 days, I also haven't been at time because we've been on a deadline, and I also flew in last night, 12 o'clock, and I just got, this morning I went to my daughter's birthday today, so I've just been hanging with her, so for our audience, we've been just taking pictures. I would take a picture of something in my room or something like very basic, like some keys or like a glass of water or a candle or something, and I send it to Lee, and then I go on a random number generator thing on the internet, and I get a number, and then I write it under the picture in my notes on my phone, and then I like meditate on the picture for a little bit and thinking of the number and connecting it with the picture. Then I send the number to Lee, and then he remote views the number, and he's been doing the same to me, and we've been getting amazing results.
I mean, we have it.
Just like I'm just looking at some of these messages he sent here. So the first one I sent you was a little water vase with some flowers and a candle with these orange and purple pink patterns on the glass that the candle was in.
Yeah.
And then Lee sends back his remote viewing data, and he drew a candle. That was a candle next to these flowers. I wish we could put it up on the screen. And then you said brown, and it was on this brown table. And then you drew the shape of the vase, of the flower vase, and you drew like the shape of the petals all around the edges, which is crazy. And you drew a glass, like the candle was in this glass, and you drew a glass. Actually, I didn't even circle it. I just look at that, Lee.
Yeah, I remember.
The glass, and then you drew the patterns. They were on the glass of the yellow, orange, and the orange patterns on the glass with the purple. It was absolutely amazing. And then I sent you the next one. I sent you was of a toothbrush and a yellow foot scrubbing brush, and you drew like the shape of the edge of a toothbrush with all these bristles coming out. So you drew the top of a toothbrush with the bristles coming out.
Yeah.
And then there was this little green thing that covered the toothbrush that was like when you're traveling.
Like a clamp.
And you drew the clamp with the things the things that are coming out, the squeezy things you squeeze on it and the round thing. I mean, it was incredible. And then the next one, what is the next one you did? I'll send you another one after that.
Yeah, you did that one, but I was on the plane when I did that last one.
The lighter, it wasn't actually that great. You were in the plane, and I don't know, you didn't really, this is a bit of a dud one, but you did kind of draw the shape of what it was.
Yeah.
But it was kind of so this also, we got this app, and then here, I'm just going to see if people are watching this. Look at this. So that
RV app.
Yeah, the RV app. Anyway, so I drew an elephant. See the elephant? Oh my gosh, this thing just keeps turning. So I drew an elephant. I was like, the RV app, I drew the elephant. I said it's an elephant. And then in the RV app for our viewers, the two pictures come up, and you have to choose which one you think you remote viewed.
Yeah.
And then you give a percentage of like how much you think it's correct.
Yeah.
So I drew an elephant, and then the two pictures came up, and one was an elephant, and I was so excited. I was like, geez, I nailed it 100%. And I marked it as 100%, like 100% correct, because I drew an elephant, and there was an elephant. And then the other picture above it was a piano, and it said, no, it's wrong. The piano is right, and the elephant's wrong. And I'm just like, how does that work?
I was wondering about something. So do you remember, like, we've been doing this RV tournament, all right?
Yeah.
And the last one,
for our viewers, the RV tournament, there's an app on your phone or on an iPad, and then you get a number every day, and you can remote view it.
Yeah.
And you can draw, and it's awesome on an iPad because if you've got a pen, and you can actually do some awesome remote viewing. But if it's on your phone, you just get some paper and you can do it, and then you get, and then 2 pictures come up, and it says which one was it that you think that you got, and then you got to choose one, and then it shows you which one was correct.
Yeah. So I was wondering something. So now you're busy remote viewing. So it gives you a number. Okay, and I'm busy remote viewing this number. And there's a lot of times when the picture pops up, and I think to myself, yes, I don't know, it could be either one, because I've got this in this picture and I've got this in that picture. So I'm not sure. So I'm wondering if it's not possible that somehow I remote viewed slightly into the future, and I could see, maybe not on that number, but what I could see the pictures that were popping up. If it makes any sense.
But that's what I went into the app because I was thinking like, okay, well, how does this work? Because I mean, I drew an elephant. I mean, you get a number and you don't know what the number is. It's just
a number. Yeah.
I drew an elephant, and then when I clicked, to see what it was, an elephant came up, and I'm like,
and you're 100% sure on that one.
And I mean, it was like my best like remote viewing session I've ever had. But then it told me I was wrong.
So really?
When I went.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, like I've never drawn like the thing complete except for the Louvre. The ones when I was doing David Morehouse's course, when you get the target numbers on the website, I drew the Louvre like this. See these things in the background?
Yes.
What is this thing?
Yeah,
the
middle one. Yeah,
like I drew those and I wrote the Louvre, and then when the picture came up, it was the Louvre. It was like perfect, and that was the best one. The second best one, apart from the elephant, that I've ever had.
So I'm wondering if maybe popping into the future for a couple of minutes, you might have actually seen the elephant on the picture that was coming.
It says here, I'm trying to find out on this RV app here.
Because that happened a lot, when I was doing that thing. Because if you look at my practice rounds, they are bad. My actual tournament rounds are good, but my practice rounds are terrible. It's because I keep getting it wrong. I keep thinking it's that because that's what I saw, and then it's not. To be honest with you, when we first started this, I honestly thought it's a shot in the dark. When you're choosing between images, it's like a guess. It's like this, you're guessing that and you're guessing this. But the amount of accuracy that comes through, and just on a number, I mean, it could be anything. It could be a toilet roll. It could be a teaspoon. It can be anything in the world. And to get the impressions and match the impressions to the pictures, and especially like the ones that we've been sending you, or you've been sending me and I've been sending you, and to match that, I mean, you could have taken a picture of a dump.
You
could have gone for a dump and taken a picture of a dump. It can be anything, but to get the impressions, just please don't send me pictures of a dump. But what I'm saying is the impressions that come through and the match that almost matches it, especially for some of the things like almost exactly, that is something to be said, that there is something there. There's definitely something on that Akashic field. Definitely.
When I started getting into all of this woo stuff, like and I heard about the remote viewing, I thought it was the biggest of shit. I was like, oh, this is so stupid, man. What the? And then I was actually questioning my own sanity while I'm listening to all of this rubbish stuff in the first place. But then when I started hearing that the CIA was doing it, and I got all of this information that was actually really a true thing, and all of that stuff. And then when I started doing it, I mean, that elephant thing, I mean, that was incredible. I drew that. I mean, so it's definitely, there's something to it. Incredible.
100%.
But anyway, before we bore our audiences anymore, let's just get Hazel on the line for Theosophy.
We welcome Hazel Dalton from the Theosophy Society in Pretoria. How's it, Hazel? How's it going?
How's it going?
Good, Hazel. How are you?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool, man. So, Hazel, can you tell us? So we're just going to jump straight in.
Yeah. Well, before we actually do that, we had actually some time back. William and I had tried to bring on somebody from the Theosophy Society to chat to us, but they were not that keen. They said they didn't really have that much information on the actual society themselves, so we kind of had to bomb that episode. But I'm really glad we've got you on, because this has kind of been interesting to me for quite some time, Theosophy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you can actually be any religion in Theosophy Society. There's no specific. I mean, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian, you could be Catholic, you could be whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So explain it to us. Explain Theosophy. How did it come about? I know Madame Blavatsky, her and another guy, I think, were actually the originators of it. But didn't it come from somewhere prior to that?
Yes, it draws from Neoplatonism and Hinduism, Buddhism, and Gnosticism.
Okay. All right. And then how did Madame Blavatsky then get involved in that? What was her? Because I know that she did a lot of touring around India and certain places around Europe.
Okay, she's from a royal blood, and her father was, I think, an admiral in the Russian army. She was born in the Ukraine. They come from the Ukraine. She had quite a weird childhood. She was quite gifted as a child and would have all funny creatures as friends, these invisible friends, but to her they weren't invisible. So she had quite a lot of experiences even from, as a child. So she founded, her and Henry Olcott and William Q. Judge, along with Blavatsky, founded the Theosophical Society in New York in 1875. So it took a long time for them to get there. Madame Blavatsky had already started having contact with the masters, getting information. So she was already putting something together. And then they decided to actually start, society and start, teaching and spreading this wisdom that she was gathering. Yeah.
Okay, when you say masters, who are you specifically speaking about, her masters?
Like the gurus from India and there's the Buddhist masters.
Yeah, so the masters can also be referred to as Mahatmas, adepts, masters of wisdom, masters of compassion, the elder brothers. So they come, with a couple of different names. So they were a human group of men who were highly evolved. So this is one thing that Madame Blavatsky prides herself in, is that she got the wisdom, the knowledge from living men. So she didn't channel anything. Nothing is coming from a source you cannot see. Everything that she got and put together, she got from living people. So these group of men are said to have achieved extra long lifespan, so they could live, they're actually still alive, hundreds and hundreds of years. And through these years, they've obviously, gained supernatural powers like super clairvoyance, and they can even project their souls to another location. So quite often Blavatsky would have meetings with these masters, but it wasn't in physical form. They had just basically astral projected themselves to another location, but yet their physical body stayed, where they live, which is in the Himalayan kingdom in Tibet. So these masters were the source of many of her published writings.
Oh wow! And then also, how did she was she chosen, or did she go on this spiritual quest and find these people, or how was that whole? I mean,
yes, they found her. I think she was actually on a train trip somewhere, and one of the masters approached her, and they got talking, and he invited her. I think it was to Tibet. I'm not sure. I'm on a correction, but he invited her to come and see him. So yeah, I think she was found by the masters. They approached her. She was doing the work, and she had the right makeup to bring this knowledge through in writing form.
Okay. Sure, and that also was quite a feat in those days, because women weren't even allowed to go into those parts of Tibet.
Yeah, women weren't allowed to do a lot of things, especially being scientific and philosophical, which Blavatsky was. So she was shunned a lot of the time. Yeah, so when she was coming with scientific theories, concepts, philosophical concepts, she was shunned. Yeah.
Oh, good on her for getting it out there. Yeah.
I stand to be corrected as well. Wasn't she one of the first Westerners to become Buddhists?
I think you may be right, yes, because she brought the whole Buddhism concept over to the West. Mm-hmm. So I think that could be. We probably wouldn't know for sure, but I think she can be said to be the first well-known person to become a Buddhist from the West. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then. Yeah. Sorry. What?
Sorry. I just wanted to quickly add about the masters. So the masters are believed to preserve the world's ancient spiritual wisdom and knowledge, and they represent the Great White Brotherhood. You might have heard that a couple of places already, and the White Lodge. And it's not anything to do with race. It's to do with the pure white light. And this brotherhood watches over humanity and guides our evolution. So they're quite important. And so they're basically not our keepers, but they protect and they watch over us. So they're not just anyone.
So the gatekeepers of knowledge.
That's not. We're not talking. It's not like a secret society that's doing it. It's actually like spiritual kind of masters of light that are like in the spiritual realm looking after us, or is it actual people in flesh?
No, actual people.
It's actual people in flesh. Yeah. So obviously they work. The brotherhood is also in spiritual form or spirit form, but also in human form. And Blavatsky worked mainly or only with the human form. And she worked with Kutumi and Moira. Those were the two masters she worked with predominantly.
But I think I found that very fascinating about Blavatsky, because she wasn't she was super psychic, she was super clairvoyant in like probably all areas, or she also did seances. I mean, she brought the whole not spirituality, but the whole spiritualism, like with the spiritual churches that we have nowadays and stuff like that. I mean, she was basically the whole person that started all of that. Am I correct? But so she had this great ability to do seances and bring information from the other side, but yet she used actually people in the flesh to bring this knowledge forward, and not channeling, because that's also what I'm always worried about channeling, is because you never know what you're getting, because even though you think you're getting Gandhi or something, it's actually a low form spirit that's just pretending to be Gandhi and like totally, just wants to play with you or whatever, or just bring you some fake knowledge or just mess with you.
Yeah, or to give you false knowledge that you can spread false knowledge, false light. But so that's why she prides herself in saying that I've dealt with human men and not from spirit. So it was she knew exactly where the information was coming from. There was no doubt. But onto the spiritualism. Spiritualism was already quite rife when she arrived in New York. It was already taking off. So, and because she had the powers and she could do this, so she got into it. And she did. She made it quite big because she was fantastic. She could teleport things. She could do amazing things, and she could manifest ectoplasm. So, I mean, she really was the genuine psychic. But after a while of doing this, she realized that it wasn't right. She realized that by calling in spirits, you can call in ones, like you said earlier, that they aren't their true identity. They'll come through and say they're Marilyn Monroe, for example, and then it isn't. So it will be an elemental that is acting or taking on the persona of someone. But she realized after doing this for many years that it was actually not the right thing to do. So Madame Blavatsky does not promote spiritualism and speaking to the dead. Well, spirituality, but she does not promote speaking to the dead.
Yes. So, I mean, just for our listeners, spirituality is like, obviously meditation, connecting with the divine and whatever, but spiritualism, which, I mean, just with the words, you can get like confused sometimes. Spiritualism is actually speaking to the dead and crossing over, mediumship, all of those things. But yeah, just so that people don't get confused.
So although Blavatsky believes in all of that, the reincarnation, life after death, and she knows that there is spirit communication from the other side, but she does not advocate it.
Yes, it's very interesting, huh?
Yeah, she does not advocate it unless you are highly trained clairvoyant and you really know what you're doing, and even then you're not really sure. But she doesn't advocate speaking to the dead.
Okay, so just tell us, what is Theosophy? If you had to sell it to someone, it would be great to get more people interested in it, because I think it's great, and I think it's something people should really, especially if people are spiritual, whatever, because speaking to people from Theosophy, they've got a lot of knowledge about spirituality. Absolutely. And it's a wealth. It's like that library that you've got behind you there. And I mean, if anybody's looking for some great teachers in spirituality, they should really get involved in the Theosophy. So yeah, please just tell us what it's about.
So what is Theosophy? It's a wisdom that belongs to life. You know, it lives and it breathes. It's not something that's just written down on paper that you need to go and read and put in your head. It's an actual living knowledge. And only an open mind can know this truth. Okay, so it must be free of ideas, color wishing. Every element of self must be cleared. Then only can one discover truth. It's only when you're absolutely free of mind and heart, and that's when the absolute truth can shine and manifest itself. So Theosophy is about truth, and you'll see that in our logo. There is no religion higher than truth.
So what is the truth?
So the concept of God or the Godhead is not the living God. To know truth, there must be nothing in the mind from which to project your own ideas. The consciousness must be purged of all its contents. In this condition, what is reflected is what exists. And this is what truth is. So truth has all aspects: matter, life, consciousness, and everything that lies beyond consciousness. The consciousness that embraces the truth completely acts in accordance with it. So in other words, the will of God. And if you're acting in accordance with it, what are you doing? You are carrying out the will of this living God. So in other words, the truth acts through the person, and then he is wise. So we've gone from knowledge to wisdom. When a man is empty of self, you'll have a perfect relationship with the whole and will act with intuition of the truth, of this knowingness, which will guide him. So it's basically just being in complete connection with the living God, with the whole, with the absolute. That is what truth is.
I mean, it's kind of like what personally I'm trying to reach in meditation. When I'm meditating, like I'm trying to reach that state, or like trying to train my brain to not see, not be trapped in the illusion, and actually like realize what is actually reality, and not like be guided by my emotions and my thoughts and stuff like that, to find the truth that you're speaking about. But I mean, there's also like a lot of the Hermetic principles with Hermeticism, and but so in Theosophy, like if I join up for Theosophy, if I come and become a member and come to classes, are you teaching like methods of how to gain this truth, or like how to live it? Is that what the courses are? Like, can you speak a bit about like maybe what would I expect to if I signed up?
So yes, you'll learn a lot actually. So you'll learn about cosmology, that the absolute is the source of all existence, and the absolute being the whole. You'll learn about spiritual emancipation. You'll learn that the purpose of life is spiritual freedom, and it's a journey towards higher consciousness. You'll learn about reincarnation and karma, and that reincarnation is guided by karma. So your actions in this life will affect and determine your next life. You'll learn about universal brotherhood. We're very strong on universal brotherhood, which promotes the values of interconnectedness of all beings. You'll learn about the esoteric doctrine, and this is where we seek the hidden truths behind religious texts, and we believe that all religions contain higher teachings. You'll learn about mystical experiences, where we learn how to have a deeper spiritual reality through intuition, meditation, revelation, and even altered states of consciousness. And you'll learn about monism, and that's the oneness or singleness. Reality is one underlying substance. It's the universal mind, or the great spirit.
Okay.
Monism and dualism, there's two different ways of looking at the world. So monists believe that everything is one, and dualists believe or see the world as consisting as two separate parts. So there's a lot that you'll be learning in Theosophy, and it covers all the bases of absolutely everything in existence.
Okay, so now I, some time back, tried to see if I could find something on Theosophy in Durban, KZN. I was looking, perhaps joining somewhere that you could go and sit and chat to people and, have a like mind where you can actually go to an area, not a church, because you wouldn't call it a church, maybe not a temple, but anyway, you go, but they don't have them in KZN.
A lodge.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, I think lodges seem to bring up things like
Sweat lodge.
Sweat lodge.
Society.
Sweat lodge. You'll see. Yeah, it tends to bring up like your Freemasonry and your Rosicrucianism and those kind of things. So I don't know how close you are related to them, because I think Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry do stem also from those type of areas and have similar type of beliefs.
They do.
Them. So, but there's nowhere in Durban, nowhere in KZN that you could actually go and actually.
Our lodge, our branch in Durban, we just recently sold the building.
Yeah.
They're looking for a new building to work from. They have occasional meetings, but in KZN, Theosophy has dwindled quite severely. So they're looking at starting it all up again and having proper meetings on a regular basis. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah,
that's a shame, man. Because I know, when I was there in Joburg now, and I was speaking to Desmond and you, and it's just like, I don't know how many youngsters are coming in, but it'd be sad if it did shut down, because it just seems like, all of the older generations are holding all this knowledge, and it's quite sad if it's going to be. So that's why I'm panicking here. I'm like, let's just try. Hopefully,
no, do you know what the problem is, William?
Get more people excited and get out there, because
the youth is going to be very hard, and I'll tell you why. There's one thing that we have got wrong, I think, in our path that we're currently walking, and it's this stuff here, these cell phones.
Yeah,
this is a problem. This is the major issue.
You must make a Theosophy app.
No, but it's not only that. People, the kiddies. I was watching people the other day. Dude, the guys are texting each other, and they're sitting next to each other. I'm like, just talk. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense.
Join Theosophy and they'll learn how to become
but that's the problem.
Telepathic, and then they can just sit next to each other and just read each other's thoughts. They're even more exciting than a cell phone.
Dude, the youth of today, unfortunately, because of the technology that we have, we grew up in an era where we didn't have TV in the beginnings. Our telephones, you had to still dial numerus oblique. Remember when you found the guy, they had to put a connection in one area and put a connection to go and connect you to somewhere up the road. We were, in those days, we still had, and we were still questioning things. We could still do that because we had, I wouldn't say at the time, but we were very searchful. We were searching. We were always searching. I was always searching for a truth. I was always searching, but the kids are not searching. The first game they get on their telephones, they play.
That's why we all depressed.
Exactly.
We're so far connected from spirit and source and everything. And like we all were saying, we're in the pandemic of the flipping of the most depressed people in the world, even though we're living in the most the best times in the world. There's so much. We're living in such an easy way. We can do our laundry, and water's coming in our house. We've got electricity. It's like the best time to be alive, but yes, we are all so depressed. And it's just because we're so far away from source and what reality and the self and spirituality and everything. So that's why we need to get this theosophy and stuff out so that we can. Imagine when we're living in a time like this, and we all even if it's just one step more enlightened. What a wonderful place we would be in,
We would be, and the kids. The thing is also that the younger people don't want to think anymore.
No, they don't.
They're being told what to think, how to think, when to think, and when they are thinking of something and they have a question, it's a simpleton question. And if they do want to dive deeper, the answers you get online are not always true. A lot of it is false light. So they're being misled.
But the thing is, okay, so we may get into a bit of a thing here with some people that might be listening, but I think with a lot of kids, let's say 15 and under. Okay, I'm not too worried about the guys that are over 15, but 15 and under. When they're attending church services, which they're going to be sitting on their phones playing games while the church service is going on. So God has kind of been forgotten. The absolute has been forgotten. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the reasons for that are, they allow cell phones in the church. So the guys, I mean, he can be playing games while everybody's singing hymns. But the other problem is the priests, and sorry to say this, but there's a lot of times when priests are giving their sermons, and I remember I fell asleep so many times in church because the guys were the most boring topics, the most boring discussions would come up, and I just think, I'm wasting my time here. This is not what I want to learn. And that's a huge problem. It's just completely boring for the kids. They would rather be on their cell phones, and they're forgetting the absolute. That is a major problem.
So now there is a solution to that, Lee. The religious world has come up with a solution for that, because what you've said is 100% correct. The kids find it terribly boring. So now the churches of nowadays it's like going to a nightclub. They've got a rock band. They're standing there and they're making horrific noises as though you were in a nightclub.
Yeah.
So the kids are they're thinking now they're doing their part going to church.
Yeah.
But it's in a nightclub environment.
Yeah.
So now they don't look at their phones. They listen to what the preacher's saying, because he's all hip and lacquer.
Yeah.
And the songs are all about God. And you can sing it like a rock song.
Yeah.
So, this is how they're grabbing the kids. And we know that the music is Luciferic, that kind of rock music. I mean, so Lucifer's having a ball capturing all these young souls.
Yeah.
But
what a pleasure,
It's quite frightening, but
no.
But I mean, what is cooler than joining a secret society? I'm just talking about Theosophy now. But I mean, we'll get into if it's a secret society or not now. But what I want to just say is that what I like about Theosophy and the Rosicrucians and Freemasons, all of that, is that on the internet, this is like, I mean, when I first started dabbling in the in spirituality, is that because there's so much stuff on the internet, it's just all of this, just people just splurging out all of this stuff. It's like you can never find like true stuff. It's like when you try and find a meditation, the one saying, no, put your eyes up here, and then the other one, it's the same meditation, it's the same to get the same outcome, but now that person's saying, no, put your eyes down like this, and the one's like saying, no, you must hold your breath, and the other one's saying, no, you must do it with the breath out, and the other one's saying, like, you must put your fingers like this, and the other one's saying, no, you must put your fingers like that, and the other one's saying you must sit like this, and the other, and it's like they're all trying to have reach the same goal, but they have the different types of meditations, but they all say in different things, like, I'm getting so confused, and I'm going around in circles. But the thing is that the Theosophy and Rosicrucian and the Freemasons or whatever, at least it's a lineage, and it's coming like it's old information that's being handed down
from thousands and thousands of years.
And also you got like people like Madame Blavatsky that were like top, like really extremely clairvoyant and like very spiritually open and stuff like that. So you're getting the knowledge directly from like someone that's a master, and she's got it from the masters, and it's being handed down. So you're getting like a pure, I mean, I couldn't say like
pure source.
It's proper knowledge coming through a lineage, like from a source, and it's not just all this just like
mumbo jumbo
vomited out stuff all over the internet and making you so confused. And it could also be dangerous, because if the one's saying look here and the other one's saying look there, and you're doing it wrong, something could happen, so that's why I'm trying to, like, people should be led to just go straight for proper like institutes with proper knowledge, proper like
proper teaching and proper methods.
Ancient sources, ancient sources.
And then tell me, sorry, what? What's that?
Sorry, Lee, you go, Lee.
No, I just wanted to know what the cost is. So if somebody was looking to thinking, okay, cool, this sounds like something I would do, what is the cost per month? And I mean, I'm sure you've got to pay some sort of fees, and if there's some studies to do, you've got to pay study fees and all sorts of stuff.
You're going to laugh.
Yeah.
We charge 150 Rand a year.
A year?
For membership.
Okay.
Jeez, no wonder you guys are bankrupt. No wonder you guys aren't working. No wonder the thing in Durban's closing down.
Exactly.
You need a bit of a need a money guru. Guys are too spiritual. Come on, bring someone in there with a bit of a money spark.
Yeah, we need a money spark.
Yeah, but you don't want to drive people away though when it starts getting
Yeah. So the thing is, we're trying to make it available for everyone, so everyone has the opportunity to get this wisdom, to get this knowledge. It's not about us or making money. I know we have to survive, but originally it was purely for humanity. It was to be in service to humanity, serve them and help them to unfold.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like the Doctor's Creed, the Hippocratic Oath. Originally, I mean, it was a Greek thing, but the Hippocratic Oath for doctors was not there to make money.
Yeah.
It was there to heal the people. And I mean, you could have been the poorest guy on earth as a doctor, but people would bring people to you and they would give you a potato or a couple of potatoes as a thank you or something. And now it's all about money. It's got nothing to do with healing people. It's all to do with the bucks.
Yeah.
Well, so that's really amazing.
Theosophy also says, it's a personal journey. It's self-transformation. So we give you the knowledge and you've got to utilize it. We don't spoon feed people. We give them the knowledge, and if they are ready to embrace it, then they will. So apart from the 150 Rand a year for membership, the courses that we offer, the talks that we offer are all on donation basis.
So if I wanted to join online, because obviously the KZN one is not happening, but if I wanted to join online, could I join online, and where would I go to join online?
Look, Theosophy is going more and more online, but we're trying not to do the whole online thing because it distorts the knowledge. Okay. We also believe in the brotherhood, and we like the face-to-face.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start, separating yourself from humanity, that also hinders your spirituality. That also hinders your soul's journey. So we encourage people to be, in the same room and see each other face to face. So, like for you, for instance, Lee, where you really can't, then yes, online, and then you could do something online. But most of our stuff is done in person.
No, look, I'm just thinking because there are, like I said, KZN is a big place. Nothing's going, nothing really is happening. I've always been keen to join a Theosophy society. So, because I understand ancient wisdom, and I understand we need to keep it going. Because when you start running out of people and people to teach, then it goes nowhere. So I find that it needs to happen, but especially in areas where you can't get there, even if you're having sort of WhatsApp calls, or not WhatsApp calls, Zoom calls, where you've got people and you're talking to each other and say, all right, today's lesson is to do with X, Y, and Z, and you kind of listening this way. It's another way of communication, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah. So that we can also do is, you get the course material, and then you do your studies in your time. Yeah. Then once a month or once every 2 weeks, then we get together, and for you, Lee, that can't, then we do a Zoom meeting. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Seriously, I'm happy to do that.
So now we're trying to get all these things going again, because all the good old people that had this knowledge, a lot of them are too old, and most of them have passed on. So they didn't really have the wisdom to see the continuity in this. So we're basically having to kind of start from the beginning again, getting it off the road, getting the courses going, and that kind of thing.
Is there a recommended reading? So before you actually join something, you want to kind of read about, maybe Manor Blavatsky's got a couple of books out that you can go and read and see what it's all about.
It's not easy reading, that I can tell you.
Okay.
But 3 of her most famous books was the Isis Unveiled, and this is about occult science and theology. And this takes from the Christian scriptures, and it takes from Buddhism, Hinduism, Vedas, and Zoroastrianism. So that is quite a heavy book to read. Then her second book, which is actually her greatest work, is the Secret Doctrine.
I've actually got that. I've got that. I'll read that.
Yeah, so if you want to start there, you can, but it's not the kind of book that you read from cover to cover. So this book is about cosmogenesis and anthropogenesis. It's about the creation of the universe and the unfoldment or the evolution of humankind. So the Secret Doctrine, it merges ancient wisdom and modern science. So it's a phenomenal book. I mean, this book opens shutters of the mind that you didn't even know existed. Then, if you want to go more onto the mysticism side of it, the Voice of the Silence is a brilliant book as well, and it's a very thin, short book. And this book is for those who want to experience a relationship between the human and the cosmos. And cosmos, I mean by the universe, the whole, the absolute, everything that is within that field. So the Voice of the Silence is a path of enlightenment and compassion and devotion. So these three books are really, really good. So I'd say if you want to, you can start with it and then dive into the secret doctrine. But Blavatsky and Alcott and Judge and Sinnott have written wonderful short books where you can get really good information from. But I can send out a list and you can have a look and you can see where you want to start.
Yeah, yes, cool. That would be great because I mean, Isis Unveiled. I mean, I started that and it was so big. It was like, I mean, I've been trying to read the Bible for ages and like I get like certain places in it and I give up. But that thing, when I looked at that, it was like, it looked about 4 times the size of a Bible. And I was like, jeepers, what the heck?
And it's 4 times harder.
And then I was reading it and I was like, what is going on here? Maybe I'm obviously not advanced enough to know what's happening.
But you see, this is exactly, William, this is exactly what people think, that it's too hard to understand and I'm not clever enough. I'm too stupid for this. I'm not on this level. But it's just because of the way that it's written. But we've got lots of people that have deciphered this and put it in a language that we can understand better.
But sorry, I don't want to put people off now because when I was reading it, I also hate reading because it takes me, it's so tedious. That's why I always go in audiobooks. And there is an audiobook. And there is actually some great stuff. I mean, like I've only gotten about 2 hours into it, but there is a lot of stuff that I do understand, and it is very exciting. But it's like it's like to get to those pieces, I got to keep going because like it's a little bit because I don't know what's going on sometimes, and I get a bit bored, and then I suddenly I get like a nugget, and I'm like, oh god, that was so good, that was pretty cool, and then but yeah, so.
But this is the problem. They look at the literature and they go, ah.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing, that people should just come to the get-togethers and that, and then just experience it there. But then also just to clarify, like I mean, is it a secret society? Is because people often think, okay, no, Theosophy is a secret society. Is it a secret society? What is a secret society? Why do they get because it's quite dangerous because people because I mean the Freemasons have been labeled as such like satanic people. There's like so many documentaries on it and like how they built all the churches and they actually that's why there's no crosses on a lot of the churches because they satanic and all this crap. But then because it's people that don't actually go there and just get a class or join and see what it really is. They just
but they have been infiltrated. The Freemasons really used to be and there are still some really good Freemasons, but overall the spirit that runs through Freemasonry at the moment is tarnished. So they have been infiltrated, and many a Freemason will admit that to you. But because they're not into that kind of thing, they're still trying to do the right thing within Masonry. So it has on higher levels, it has been infiltrated.
Okay, and so what is the difference between you, the Rosicrucians, and the Freemasons?
Well, there's no really difference because they stemmed from us. They came from us. Max Heindel, the guy that founded Rosicrucianism, he was a Theosophist, and he added his own flavor to it, and then it became the Lady of the Rose, or it was about the feminine side and of the rose. And then Rudolf Steiner, he was also a Theosophist, but he didn't want to lose that kind of Christianity sense. He kept the Christianity, and he brought a little bit more Christianity into Theosophy. So he kind of theosophized Christianity. So so there have been some branches, but basically everything is Theosophy. Every single thing is Theosophy. The basis of our existence is Theosophy.
Great. And also, so where did these teachings, did these come from the mystery schools of Egypt and Mesopotamian and Greek and Rome, or where did this stuff come from? Theosophy, where did it originate from?
All right, so Theosophy originates for the Upanishads, the Vedas, the really, really ancient texts of Hinduism and Buddhism. Where Hinduism and Buddhism got their info from is Theosophy, where the older European philosophies, the Plato, Plotinus, and Socrates, all the great philosophers, they were Theosophists. Their understanding of life and existence was Theosophy. Gnosticism is Theosophy. So, I mean, we can really, really take Theosophy back. So Theosophy means divine wisdom. Theos is God or divine, and Sophia is wisdom. So Theosophy means divine wisdom. How do you define divine wisdom? It's such a vast concept.
So I'm assuming,
and everything has divine wisdom in it, even religion.
Yeah, I'm assuming then, William, obviously with our discussions that we've had, even going back to Atlantis, I'm reckoning this stuff was there before that.
Yeah, because it's the understanding of things. Yeah,
and it's been carried down. Obviously, when Atlantis sunk, it was carried across to the continents, and it was still kept going. But I think we're going back just a couple of 100,000 years ago.
Really, really thousands upon thousands. So Theosophy is like a knowledge. It's a knowledge of truth. And like I was saying earlier, that truth is our connection. It's when we've dropped the Maya, we've dropped the self, we've dropped this body and mind, and we realize that we're actually spirit beings. That is what truth is. It's not like there's reptilians, there's that. That is not truth. That is just stuff that happens here in our physical reality. We want to know what's beyond that. And Theosophy gives us that explanation. Yeah, so the wisdom is divine.
Cool. Great. So you never answered if it's a secret society.
Oh, yes, I did. No, so we used to be a secret society back in the day, but we actually haven't been a secret society for a good number of decades. We've opened our doors a good 50 odd years ago. And the reason why we were a secret society is because this knowledge is so potent. It's really, and it can be used for good and bad. So knowledge isn't good or bad. It's simply knowledge. So when you take this knowledge, it can make people very powerful, and it can be used for good things and for bad things. So this is why it was kept for people that were at a certain level that realized that everything is actually good. So it used to be a secret society, but not anymore. We want the people to know now. Humanity has evolved to a good enough level for this kind of knowledge to come out now. We've unfolded a little bit more than what we did 200 years ago. Our understanding of things is different now. So we're ready for this kind of knowledge. Whereas in the past, not everyone was ready. If they heard the stuff, they would immediately burn you at the stake. You were condemned. So now we're ready for this. And it's time that it comes out, and it's time that people learn this.
Yeah. And also sorry, Leah, just the last thing I'll be done. But what I also, speaking to Desmond when I was in Joburg, which I found interesting, because when you say that it's the people are ready to know the knowledge, I was thinking okay, cool, I'm just going to come in there and it's just going to be bombarded with all the great stuff, the good stuff, but as you say, you got it, you can use for good or for bad, but Desmond is saying there's levels, and then when they see you ready to get the next information, then you will be getting the next information. And it's that structure is that also, if you come into the first class, you can't do the stuff that people are in the advanced class, because firstly, you're not ready for it. And secondly, if you are there and you're asking stupid questions and they're like, dude, this is like, year 7, like, what are you asking this dumbest question? Go back to the first year. And then he was also saying like, because it's like an energy exchange of like, you can't fit, no, I mean, not any exchange that I'll do this for you and you do that for me. But if you're in that, you're getting this knowledge, the amount of light that it's putting into, you can't like put a 1,000 watts voltage into a 10-watt bulb because you're going to blow it. So you got to you got to ease it in until you get the knowledge, until you go up, until you can receive higher knowledge. And that's when you say that we're ready for it now. It's also not, yes, you can start, but then you're not ready to get everything. You got to like,
you're not ready to get everything.
You got to take the steps to get to the, and also so they can see ready. Because imagine if you get all of that wisdom and you use it for bad, then it's not. So you got to progress on a path to see. They can see if you're ready and you can receive the next things. Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah, and I mean, for example, Hitler used Theosophy to his advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they changed that though. It went from Theosophy to Theosophy, where they had the whole Aryan. Yeah, they had the whole Aryan race as this whole thing. So they changed the Theosophy to Theosophy.
But they had the basis. They had the basis of the knowledge, and they manipulated it, or they attempted to. So when this knowledge lands in the wrong hands and people that are not ready, bad things can happen. But on the other hand, when it lands in other people's hands, great things can happen. So we're not looking at all the bad things that can happen. We're looking at the great things that can happen.
And that's also probably why we are more ready now. I mean, because we've been through so many wars, and we are trying to, and we are becoming more conscious. I mean, slavery was just 100 years ago. I mean, look how far we've moved in 100 years. I mean, it's quite but even, I mean, I know there's still a war in Ukraine and Israel and everything, but in Palestine. But so I mean, maybe we aren't ready, but we are ready. Like
no, we're ready.
We have progressed. I mean, as I said, just in 100 years. I mean, we progressed so much. So maybe this is the time.
Well, and we're ready because of what Blavatsky introduced to the West. So Blavatsky has brought a lot of the concepts to the West that we're not even really acknowledging. She brought pantheism to the West. She said that the divine is in all existence, nature, humanity, and the cosmos. This divine is not a distant deity. It is interconnected in you and all life.
Yeah, no, I've always believed that.
We didn't have that concept before. We thought God was a man sitting on a cloud with his robe and long beard.
Now, I must be honest, I've always believed that the creator being, the great spirit, is in everything. Everything that's material, everything that's non-material, in this wood, everything. It's in everything. Yeah.
Even this laptop. Yeah.
Because energy has been used to create it. It's just vibrating at a different frequency. That's what it is.
At a different frequency.
Yeah.
And Blavatsky brought philosophy and religion together from various ages and cultures. She wove together Eastern philosophy and Western esotericism. Blavatsky wanted to create a universal doctrine that showed the common essence that runs through all religions, philosophies, and science. So she wanted to bring them all together and say, but look, it's all the same thing. It all has the golden thread. She brought to the West the idea of evolution, that there are cycles of development where one mother race succeeds the other. And this is what Hitler liked, was the root race, the mother race. That's where he came with the Aryans. And Theosophy also put in place the existence of multiple planetary systems. Blavatsky said hundreds of years ago that it's more than just the solar system.
Yeah,
and they didn't believe her. And look today how many we've discovered. She also brought the secret Tibetan texts to the West, which obviously she included in her books, The Secret Doctrine and The Voice of the Silence. But she introduced ancient wisdom, metaphysical exploration, brought interconnectedness to Western thought. Although this did challenge a lot of the religious and philosophical boundaries at the time, but look at us today. We're meditating, we're doing yoga, We're looking at our metaphysical. We're looking at chakras and auras. It was Blavatsky that brought all of that to the West. Can I just mention our wisdom, our mission, and our 3 objects? So our mission is to serve humanity.
Yeah.
By cultivating an ever-deepening understanding and realization of ageless wisdom. We want to serve humanity, teaching them this ageless wisdom. We want to help with their spiritual self-transformation, and we're promoting the unity of all life. The pinnacle of spirituality, of understanding, of enlightenment is realizing that we are all one. And you learn this in Theosophy. Then our 3 objects is to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood of humanity. And it doesn't matter your race, your creed, your sex, but we want to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood. We want to bring people together. And we also want to encourage the study of religion, philosophy, and science. So we encourage the study of all of that. And then we also want to, we encourage people to investigate more the unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in man. We are powerful beings. We just don't know that. Yeah. And Theosophy teaches you this. It shows you who you are. So we go through the whole self-realization. Once you've done the self-realization, you can have the God realization.
So if you want to solve the world, you start with yourself.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
Yeah, want world peace, you got to start with yourself. Don't try and change the world, change yourself. And if we all did that, we would have world peace,
Yeah.
But great, man. So Lee, you got anything else there, man?
No, it was great talking to you, Hazel. Thank you very much for your time, man. Much appreciated.
And thank you, guys.
Amazing. Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and I hope people will really get up and take another look at Theosophy, or take a new look at Theosophy, because it's really something. It's a quest for hidden wisdom, and we want to know what this hidden wisdom is. We want to delve into deeper dimensions of existence. These are all such fascinating subjects, and Theosophy covers who we are, where we came from, what we're doing here, and where we are going. Those are the 4 basic questions that humanity asks in general.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also, I think it's very fascinating, because that's when, I mean, with religion and science, it was together in the old days with like the alchemists and all of that, and then it diverged with the churches, and then science went one way and the churches went the other way, and it actually split when it was diluted. And now I think we are at a pinnacle now, that it's going to start merging back together again, and this spirituality and science are going to start coming back to. I mean, I hope. I mean, I see sort of.
And once that happens, we will be so content. We will be happy. We will be whole again. So we are fragmented, because philosophy, science, and religion is, fragmented. It's taken their own paths. It has to come together.
And that's also with a doctor and with medicine and psychology. It's like the thing that's missing while we say is the spirituality thing, and they need to come together, because that's the missing piece. So if we incorporate all of that into one, then we can all become whole and healed again. And that's
Correct.
So I see it merging now, but I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to, but I think it's going to come that way. Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Well, in the bigger scheme of things, that's where we headed, but it's just how we get there and how long it takes to get us there, and all the hurdles we create for ourselves. But we will get there. It's just the unfolding of it is up to us.
Okay. Yeah. But Hazel, amazing. Thank you so much. Love chatting to you. It was so wonderful seeing you in Pretoria.
Thank you, guys.
We will see you again.
Thank you very much. Much love and blessings.
Much appreciated. Okay. Thanks, Hazel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hazel.
Bye.
Cool. Yeah, okay. So, that was very interesting, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So I'll have to start off some online courses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get involved there, because something always.
No, I can't wait to go to my meeting. It was so cool. I was in Joburg and I saw her and Desmond and I went to the Theosophic headquarters there in Joburg, and what a beautiful building, and their library is just absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful, and it was very exciting.
That's not bad. $150 for the year. That's like nothing.
I know that's.
Hey?
That's quite scary. No, that's great.
Shame, man. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, let's hope people that listen to this get on there.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
Check it out.
Especially in Pretoria, and I don't know where in Cape Town they are.
Yeah. In Joburg, they're there by the Melville, next to Melville.
So mostly Joburg and Pretoria. So there's nothing in Cape Town either.
No, there's Cape Town here as well. Yeah.
All right. No, cool, man. Well, I think we end it there. We've been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, that's quite a long one. Yeah.
Thanks to everybody thanks to everyone for listening to us again. Much appreciated time. We'll see you guys next week. Well, have a good evening, Matt. We'll speak soon.
You too, man. Cheers, bro.
Cheers.